today was an incredibly interesting day in the markets. So I wanted to make this recap to kind of show what I was thinking about going into the day and what ended up playing out. Because yeah, it was a difficult day today. We did end up managing to end the day with a very small profit, essentially break even. But let me remove all of this stuff and go into today's PA, right? So when we open the charts today, it is a Monday. It is a no news Monday as well. We had taken the previous daily high on NQ, and there was no bottom wick on this candle yet, right? So going into the day, I was thinking potentially, since we've taken the previous daily high, we might now move down to create a bottom wick here. Same thing goes for the weekly candle, previous weekly high taken, and no bottom wick on the weekly candle yet, right? However, looking at ES had not taken the previous daily high, right? And neither the previous weekly high, and there was even a small downside wick here. So that of course creates some uncertainty. Now, today, this uncertainty was not handled perfectly by me. And I need to be completely honest about that. Because due to this uncertainty and it being a no news Monday, potentially the best move today would have been to not take a trade. And it would have resulted in pretty much the same result, right? A break even day, which I had anyways now, even though I took 3 trades, right? So kind of either I have taken all these trades, ended in around $100 of profit, right? Or I could have just not done anything, not had the stress, right? And would have had the same result. So potentially not taking a trade today would have been the best. Anyways, let's go into what happened, right? We can see previous daily high was taken. This 4-hour candle closed very kind of rejection like with the wick here. On the 1 hour, we have this bullish 1 hour FEG, right? Which is of course also once again something that kind of shows us, we are kind of looking for sells, but there is a 1 hour bullish FEG, so potentially not the best place to take trades, right? Anyways, coming into the day then, what did I see? We had, of course, this 15-minute fair value gap, right? We had this here, and we had a couple of ones below as well. Now, pretty quickly, when New York opened, we pushed to the downside of this fair value gap, right? Inversing this 15-minute fair value gap, also inversing all these smaller 15-minute fair value gaps here, right? And also breaking to the downside here, right? Whatever you want to call it, if you want to call it change in the state of delivery, if you want to call it order block, whatever you want to call it, we had it here, right? Now, going into this then, I was seeing this 15-minute inversion and I was thinking potentially we could take a sell from here. So what ended up happening is price retraced back into this, right? We had this 1-minute FEG here then. You can see price, where do we have it? Came back into here and then traded back out, right? So what I did was I took a sell here. I think my SL was around there, and I was simply targeting low-hanging fruits at this area. I believe my SL actually was kind of around here for a little bit of a higher RR. I believe this was the trade, the exact trade that I took, live on stream as well, of course. Now, what was the issue with this trade? And I called this out live on stream as well. The issue was that at this point in time, ES had already then taken this low that I wanted to target, right? And ES had already taken it. ES had already taken that external range liquidity. Now, at that point, of course, I was thinking about, I said it on stream, moving my stop loss to break even. And it is what I should have done as well. But I didn't. I thought, we'll just let it play out. I don't mind. And we took a loss on it, right? So that was trade number one, which I'm going to be completely honest, could have been managed better by me. Then going into it, we can see we kind of pushed up again, and at this point we had created this 15-minute fair value gap, right? We had created this 15-minute fair value gap here. Oops, let me mark this out. And we traded into this, right? We traded into this here, and I was looking for another re-entry. Now, I took this re-entry without an inverse fair value gap on the 1 minute, right? Which I am usually more careful about, but I was willing to do it in this case. We had also a very large stop loss on this trade, right? So once again, it was a trade which technically, yes, is valid, but it wasn't a great trade, right? There was no inverse fair value gap on the 1 minute here. We simply traded out of the zone. A decent trade, but not great, right? So we took loss number 2. Then price continued up, spiked into the 15-minute fair value gap again here. And we can see on ES at this point, there was huge S&T everywhere. Essentially nothing that ES was doing was matching up with NQ. However, we got a very, very clean setup. And I ended the stream after taking this trade because I thought probably nothing is going to happen, right? However, once I saw this, you know, we had a small fair value gap here, which initially got respected, and then it was pushed through, right? Closing the low here as well. And I saw this trade and it was too good to pass out on. So I took it here. We were able to get a great risk to reward on this as well. Simply targeting this low down here, because looking at the 15-minute, this zone, this internal range liquidity is of course targeting this external range liquidity. So what we did was we took this trade here, right? I took a couple of partials off at this low, right? And those were the 3 trades we took today, right? This one, of course, ended up being a winner, slightly bigger than these 2 losses combined, right? So that's why we are in a little bit of profit today, but not much. And yeah, it was a very interesting trading day, which could have definitely gone better. But it ended up being a break-even day, right? So we can't complain. However, there is a lot of lessons in here if you paid attention, right? First of all, let's recap. Now, ES took this. I even said it myself on stream that potentially we should move stop loss to break even, but then I didn't. So that's, of course, lesson number 1. Lesson number 2 here, a trade which is technically valid, but just not great due to the size of the stop loss, no internal, no inverse FEG, size of the target, right? And the third trade, which is just a very valid trade. So we can see right here a very interesting day, a kind of complicated day to trade, a complicated start to the week, but either way, like I said, I stream every day live on YouTube, 9:30 a.m. New York time, so make sure to check it out.